would like to thank everybody for being here. Welcome to the 4th edition of E4Impact's International Mentoring Program. Our special guest this evening is Laura Colnaghi. Laura is the president and CEO of the Carvico Group. Carvico Group, which is based here in Italy, but it was founded in 1962. It has offices in China, Hong Kong, United States, Vietnam, and Ethiopia. Over 1,000 employees. It's a worldwide leader in high quality stretch fabrics, trendsetter in Italy for swimwear, underwear, sportswear, and outerwear, as well as the world of microfibers. Ms. Carvico is an accomplished person in her own right, besides leading a very important and worldwide leader in entrepreneurship. She's been the president and CEO of the company since 2005. She's been voted as the best, Carvico has been voted as the best women-led business in Italy, which is quite prestigious. And Ms. Colnaghi was named one of the 100 most influential women by Forbes magazine. So besides her entrepreneurial and business talents, we also wanted to bring into account another piece of her personality, and that's the athletic part of her life. Again, incredible accomplishments. Ms. Colnaghi has 14 times won world titles in cross-country
age group.
Yeah, in the masters group but still 14 world titles in cross-country skiing. For our African friends, that's the equivalent of long distance running in Africa. She's run marathons and is an accomplished cyclist as well. So what we really wanted to do today was to talk to Ms. Colnaghi both about business and sport, and draw that analogy and begin to understand how the lessons learned from sport can also help somebody run a business and be a leader in a very competitive business world. So Laura, if we could start just by telling us the story of the company and then your story personally about running the company.
Yes. Okay. The story of the company starts in 1962 when my husband, who unfortunately passed away in 2005, and that's how I become the president and the CEO of the group, founded this lovely company. And he had this idea of combining nylon with an elastomeric fiber, which is known as lycra. And that's how he started producing fabrics that then have become a benchmark for all kind of beachwear apparels. Then after this company founded in 1962, which is still the biggest company of our group, he has started another company which is called the Jersey Lomellina, that started in 1977, which is specialized in the production of stretch, circular knitted fabrics for trendy beachwear, fitness, underwear, and shirting. Then in 1989, he bought this other company, which is based a little bit far from these other two companies, which are based very next to Bergamo. And this is Euro Jersey, which is based not far from Varese. Always we're talking about Lombardy anyway, you know, the region is always the same. And Euro Jersey, as I said, has joined the group in 1989 with its a very unique and innovative patented fabric named Sensitive. And now it's really a reference item for menswear and women's wear and fitness. Then finally, also I would like to mention the Excellence company, which was taken over in 2011. And that produces, this is the only company that produces yarn. And this is a very last generation elastomeric fiber. featuring unique technology, ideal for the production of chlorine-proof fabrics and with a very high resistance to high temperature washing. And then in 2008, the group started going global without delocalizing though. So what we have done is to start new businesses in Vietnam and now in Ethiopia, but for say gaining a certain market which was not reachable from Europe. So we have never delocalized, we have just internationalized, which is extremely important. In fact, the number of our employees has grown from say 600 to now more than 1,100. So this has been a very, very important result. And so with Hung Yen Knitting and Dyeing in Hanoi, we have reached the market of Southeast Asia, which was very difficult for us to reach before us opening this company in Vietnam, and which is a very, very important, it's a very interesting presence. You know that now, last year, the company in Vietnam has produced and sold more than 18 million meters of fabrics.
Wow.
So this means that, you know, it's a great, great presence, and that is doing extremely well, and we're very happy with that. And the newborn in 2018 is this other company, which is called Carvico Ethiopia, which is 100% owned by the Carvico company in Italy, and that is partially operating by now. As I told Frank during our telephone call of a couple of days ago, unfortunately in Ethiopia, as many of you might know, we've been coping with very serious problems because of the civil war that unfortunately has been, you know, damaging, you know, this is what I would like to say, the country. I do really hope that things will be solved in the most peaceful way by the present Prime Minister and the people of the Tigray region. Unfortunately, you know, our company has been taken over by the rebels for 1.5 months, and so we've been unable to produce. Even though, you know, I was very worried, but I must say that fortunately enough, nothing really serious happened to our premises, which has enabled us to clean everything and to be ready to restart the production no later than 2 days ago. So
beautiful.
This
congratulations. Yes,
very good news. We're very happy, and we desperately need that knitted products, because the idea was to produce in Ethiopia our commodities, and so we have sent many knitting machines in Ethiopia. And so, you know, we were not able to produce here because our knitting machines for producing commodities were in Ethiopia, but Ethiopia was not producing. So, I mean, anyway, let's hope for the best, Frank, and everybody listening to this to this chat. You know, I do hope everything is going to go better and better. I have good feelings. And what I also wanted everybody to know is that our employees in Ethiopia have been marvelous, just the best. They have been cleaning the company and the premises for 1 month, day and night, because they really wanted to keep their place clean and able to start producing immediately. So it was really moving what I've been seeing, you know, through our phone calls, and it has been a great evidence of their attachment to our companies and also to our philosophy. And anyway, very,
Yeah.
very interesting. Very
Beautiful, beautiful.
yeah.
Laura. And I want to get back to Ethiopia further on in our conversation, but so your Carvico will be celebrating 60 years this year.
Yes, this year,
Yeah.
yes, we have celebrated our first 50 years in 2012.
Right.
And, I don't think this is a time for celebration.
Right. I understand. I
So,
understand.
but
But
I think,
still, it's a sign of endurance, and it brings us to our, to the analogy that we wanted to talk about a little bit with you
well,
today, because where you've been so accomplished in the athletic field are sports of endurance.
exactly.
And so I'd like you, if you could, I mean, we just talk about some of those keys to success, the keys to success in athletics, but how they transfer over into the keys to success to business. We were talking about preparation. It takes a very rigorous, disciplined routine that you follow when you do go to do something like a marathon or like a cross-country ski.
Yes, I think that, of course, everybody can play the role of the entrepreneur as he or she likes better, because I mean, it's not mandatory that one has to be an athlete to be an entrepreneur. I want to, to explain this, to start with, but say that to be a good athlete, one has to be very disciplined. One has to be ready, especially to defeats, because that's the key of success. Because if someone wants to win the whole time and then he doesn't, then he might as well abandon, because he said, I'm not having fun, but whilst in life everything is difficult, and in my opinion, to be an entrepreneur is extremely difficult, because every single day one has to reinvent himself or herself, because there are, especially now, there are difficulties and problems and critical situations every single day. And maybe in the past it wasn't like this. I have experienced and read about enterprises and entrepreneurs who kind of were surviving for years and years. We're talking about maybe 50, 60, 70 years ago. It was much easier because the world was not as globalized as it is now. So competitors were local competitors and easier to cope with. Now, our competitors are global. We have competitors everywhere, in China, in America, well, I do hope in Africa as well, because this means that Africa will be, it's a sign of growth.
Absolutely.
And this would be, for me, a sign of great success. And so going back to sports, I think that, one has to be, as I said, disciplined, ready to whatever situation, and great endurance. As an entrepreneur today has to be very, very resilient.
Right. Yeah. Something I've heard you say in the past, and this might not be a comfort to our entrepreneurs who are listening to us, but you've said they have to be prepared to suffer.
Yes, to suffer, because I mean, I have been suffering many times during a race. And I remember many times, saying to myself, okay, this is the last time I'm going to do this. This is the last time. I'm not coping with this anymore. This is the last time. But then the moment you finish the run or the race or whatever, you say to yourself, okay, it was hard, but actually I deeply enjoyed myself, and I'm looking forward for the next competition. This is something very common. I have experienced this also with many friends of mine who are into sports, and I think this is what happens to most of us.
Absolutely, absolutely. But and then touch, just if you could, maybe even tell us a story about an entrepreneurial defeat that you might have had and that you had to bounce back from.
Bounce back. Well, actually, I must confess that when the rebels took over the company in Pombolcha, I was collapsed. Let me tell you, I was really so depressed and really not knowing what was happening to this huge investment, which is the second Italian investment in Ethiopia.
Wow.
I couldn't sleep at night. I said, oh my God, but where did I go wrong? Why did I choose this country? Why? And this and that. And then I went through all the process that led us to this decision. And, I said, well, actually, we thought that this would have been the best. And then I had a very important chat with my CEO in Carvico, and I asked him, but listen, may I ask you something? And he said, yes. Would you still start the investment today, even with
knowing what you know? Yes.
This scenario? And he said, yes. And
okay.
I tell you that I am deeply convinced that it has been a very good decision and that we have to hold on now. It's difficult, but you will see that we will be proven correct.
Yeah, and that brings me to the next point, which I think is so important, and that has to do with endurance sports, but also with entrepreneurship. And it's a combination of mental toughness, but combined with leadership. Okay. When you say it's hard every day, I think it's particularly hard when you're a leader, when you feel the responsibility directly.
Yes.
Can you talk about that just a little bit?
Yes, sure. It is difficult because people look at you and they want to get from you the spirit of of the enterprise, and the idea of having someone that knows exactly how to drive the car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that's the point. And then you always ask yourself, am I doing the right thing? People looking at me as the leader, as the one that has to take care of somebody. It's a big family, and I am as the father of everybody, father, mother, of course. And then one has to put himself together and say, okay, one has to keep calm and no hysteria, and whenever there's something that you cannot see well, just relax, and maybe the following day things are going to be clearer. And I think that basically, if one has clear ideas, a clear mind, and especially is moved by the best intentions, then definitely I think that one can be a good leader.
Yeah, well, and something else that, just to follow up, you mentioned just a few minutes ago, you consulted with your CEO.
Yes.
How do you pick your leadership team? What traits do you look for? Who are the kind of people you think can help you to run this race?
Well, actually, I must say I have been very, very lucky, because most of the people I have chosen to be next to me as managers were trained within the group.
Wow.
Yes, that's why they know very well what they are doing. They know the field extremely well. And this is basically what has happened within our group.
But they are also long-term relationships then. These are people there's a level of trust, a very high level of trust.
Very long relationships, yes. And so, yeah, if I think of all the managers we have, basically they all come from the group.
Wow.
And maybe the only one that has not come from the group, that has been chosen through, a process of headhunter, is the woman that is now the general manager in Hanoi. But she has replaced a general manager who who had grown within Carvico. And then she was the head of sales in Hanoi. And then since the guy was, of course, he had an age for which he had to retire, and she replaced him. But she's the only one that has come from, say, an outside experience.
That's very interesting. You know, there's the Italian expression, a winning team. You don't change a winning team, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And so, yeah.
No, it's a very, I would say, close team. You know, everybody knows each other and they do work very well. I very, very often speak to all my general managers, and I can see that they were able to create a very, very strong,
cohesive group. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay. Let's talk just another part that has to do with leadership, but a woman leader. Okay. Have any specific obstacles that you faced? Any specific challenges that you can?
I think that I don't think I've been facing obstacles in my life because I was a woman, really. You know, and if I did fail in something, instead of saying, you know, I failed because I'm a woman, I said, no, let's put it this way. Let's see, where did I go wrong? You know, notwithstanding the fact I'm a woman, not a woman. Yeah, if a woman is a valid person, she will succeed no matter what happens. This is my idea. You know, I think that a woman can be very successful if she acts like a woman and use the feminine skills, because as women we have, I think, some skills which men don't have.
I agree.
Yeah. Stay women. You know, why do we have to be men? No, we are women. We have exactly the same skills of a man, mentally speaking, but then we have a different approach. This is the point. A man is more kind of tough, you know. We have different approaches, but this doesn't mean that maybe it's not even better sometimes.
Very good. Yes, I agree. I agree. So let's go into a couple of other specifics about the company itself, because obviously your product is known worldwide, and nobody judges the excellence of the product. But around this product, you've also built in a production scheme which is circular, and you're really a leader in the circular economy. So could tell us a little bit about that as well.
Well, yes, we try our best, you know, Frank, because it's not so easy, actually, as you may know, because still, you know, we are an industrial company. So any kind of production, as you may understand, produces a certain environmental impact. But we believe, of course, that there's no future without a true green responsibility. So we try, you know, to do our best in terms of reducing consumptions, developing increasingly responsible production models, and perfectly blending different financial, social, and environmental aspects. And so, to become more practical, we've been decreasing the consumption of water, electrical power, decreasing the consumption of chemicals, reducing the CO2 emissions, and cutting down on waste, and spreading a higher awareness regarding environmental responsibility. So these are the pillars onto which the whole Carvico Group supply chain is based. These are the highlights. Then, I mean, to go into specific, it's going to take a long.
Sure, but let me just cite a couple of things.
But what I can assure everybody is that what we, of course, have been implementing in Europe, and specifically in Italy, since already a long time, maybe 20 years ago, has been replicated exactly in Vietnam and now in Ethiopia. We never even thought of internationalizing our business and, just polluting places where we established our companies. So this is a must. And I think that, even our employees abroad do appreciate very much this approach that we had. Yeah. And of course, we will, Frank, as well, try to improve every year. There are new models, new ways of being light on the environment, and we are trying to improve as much as we can.
Yeah, but just let me cite a couple of them. If I understand correctly, 50% of the fibers that you use are recycled fibers.
Yeah, well, yes, maybe not 50, but very close to 50.
Very close, yeah. And that
see, but you see, the point is that not only it's important what you do with the fibers, or threads or however, but it's important how you do it. Say, because if you use recycled fibers and then you have huge emissions of CO2 and you use a lot of water, waste anyway. So one has to combine the two strategies, using recycled materials as threads or fibers or whatever you say, and on the other hand, also trying to reduce all kind of impacting production, like, as I said, trying to reduce the use of water and so on.
And Laura, if I'm not mistaken, your plant in Bergamo is 100% energy self-sufficient.
Exactly.
That's quite an accomplishment. And there's
that was a great idea. We started already maybe in 2013 or something like that. I don't remember the date, but something like that. And we are now self-sufficient, yes.
Yeah,
even
beautiful.
though now, Frank, we are coping now with huge increases in cost of energy, which is dramatic. So that's why, the idea of producing in Ethiopia, where the energy costs 1/5 of what costs in Italy, for us, can be extremely important. So let's hope we'll be able to reduce the gap that was unfortunately created by this unfortunate war.
Let's go back to one more thing about the endurance, because you have a company which has endured over 60 years, but which is continually innovating. And you're continually developing new product and entering into new markets. Just give some advice to our entrepreneurs. I mean, I think that's part of enduring, right? That's part of the sustainability model, is that you're persistent, but you're not closed.
No, because as you know, and whenever you are trying to be a good athlete, you have to renovate yourself every day. There's no end on how you can get better in your performance. And this is the same idea we have in our company. So the fact that we are world leader in our production doesn't mean that, that then we don't have to make new investments to try to produce always better, to try to offer our clients better products. And as I told you, this was a policy that maybe, I may not even in those times could have been successful, maybe 50, 60, 70 years ago. Now, with this globalization, nobody can afford being, without new inputs the whole time. Right. Nobody can afford it. Nobody. And nobody should be happy by the end of the day, if not when there's a big, improvement in whatever an entrepreneur has to do.
It takes also a lot of courage, because if you've been successful, and you have to continually rethink what you're doing. Yeah.
Exactly. One has to rethink every day, and of course, but listen, an entrepreneur has courage, because if you don't have courage, you are much better off being an employee.
Right.
You go to bed at night and you do hope that your employer has good ideas. But
Right.
hope. You do hope, okay, let's hope that, Mrs. Colnaghi will have good ideas, and then I sleep well.
Yeah,
If you're an entrepreneur, you have to
that's
somehow reinvent yourself every day.
yeah. Very good. Thank you. Okay. So now a couple of questions that have come in from the field during this past week. Okay.
I have prepared some answers.
Okay, great.
Answers.
So from Uganda, somebody has asked, how have you found and developed effective partnerships, which have to have been very important for you?
Okay, this is a question to which I'm afraid I'm not very much able to answer, because all the companies we have established abroad and in Italy have had no partnerships.
Ah, wow.
It is somehow difficult, I think, unless you have common backgrounds with your partner to establish partnerships, because it might happen that then along the way one might have different ideas, and then this can make the business a little bit difficult. But this is my idea. Of course, there are many partnerships, and I think that there are also very successful partnerships. So anyway, but it's something that I have never really experienced personally. So this is the question from Uganda. Then
yes.
Then the other question from Zimbabwe.
Well, from Zimbabwe, yes, they want to know how you deal with your competitors, and this we'd like to stay on a little bit.
Well,
yeah.
This is something that I can answer very well.
Okay.
And I would make a summary with just 2 words, which is service and quality. Which means that if you are able to offer a quality that nobody can beat, and if you're able to offer a service that nobody can even imagine, then of course you create a certain loyalty also from the side of your client, because he will be very fond of you, and he will rely on your service and your quality. And this is, to me, the best way of facing challenges from other competitors. And this is how we have been facing challenges, especially from China,
Yeah, sure.
Because that is the main field where our competitors are. Because unfortunately, I'm saying unfortunately, because really this means that our main competitors in Europe didn't do so well. And this is why, many entrepreneurs have been failing, because they never thought that these were the 2 pillars of competition: service and quality, and ideas, of course. Yes, ideas, because one has to have always new products. But whenever you give new products, service and quality, then it's a very good key to success.
That makes sense. The new ideas mean your product is continually evolving. The quality means when the people receive it, it's exactly what they're looking for and they're able to use.
I think,
and then
this is what my belief is. And if you are able to stay on this platform, then I do think that your competitors are going to have a very hard time in beating you.
Excellent. And finally, from Sierra Leone, yes, and this too is got a sports component in it. How do you motivate your employees? What is it that you do to get them?
First of all, I think that one has to create a very interesting and nice environment for the work. People should be able to work in premises which are, of course, nice and clean and well maintained, and this is number 1. Then it's very important to give them targets, yes, and to tell them, this is what we have to be reaching by the end of this year. This is the efficiency that the company must have, And then definitely, I would say that it's extremely important to give performance bonuses.
So they share in the success of the
Yes,
company. Yes.
of course.
Yeah.
You know, a company is a team, and the more you keep the team alive, the better it is.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. Very good. Very good. Uh, and this will be the final question because we've got 3 minutes left, but the final question came in from Kenya, and I guess we have to face this in almost all of our interviews, but it has to do with overcoming the difficulties that the pandemic is creating. Can you talk, what has that meant to Carvico, and what are some of the things you've done to overcome those?
Listen, unfortunately, as Carvico, we haven't done anything special. Say that we've been following the rules that were given by our government. We could not do anything different from, you know, of course, trying to enhance the responsibility of our employees and the use of masks and social distance. You know, it has been very difficult, Frank, for everybody, I think, because as you know, maybe you don't know, but we in Italy we've had a couple of months of lockdown. So a couple of months, nothing was working in our factories. And that has been difficult to cope with. But anyway, you know, 2020 has been a difficult year. This year, actually, there was a fantastic rebound. So we have had sales even higher than in 2019, which is really...
Wow. Yeah. So 2021 exceeded 2019.
Yes.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah. That was a great success. But you know, now we, of course, have had some troubles whenever we have reopened the factories after the Christmas holidays because of the pandemic. As you know, this Omicron virus is even worse than the two other viruses before. It is not as lethal as what we have experienced before, but still is very, very contagious. And so we have had, and we still have some problems in the production because there are some areas of the production that have a lot of absences, but you know, we try our best. And let's hope, you know, that all this will be just a souvenir very soon.
Yes. Yeah. Very good. Thank you very, very much. Just one last comment from an entrepreneur who thanks you because they mentioned that, thank you, Laura, for your motivation. I am encouraged and I do not feel all alone. So sometimes it can be lonely to be an entrepreneur, and it's nice to hear other entrepreneurs who've been through these difficulties. Any last words for our entrepreneurs who are listening?
My last word is that one has to keep faith. Do keep faith. You know, if you really believe in your project, in your plans, you will succeed. There's no question about it. But even when you do think that things are not going the way you wanted, if you do believe you are right and you are on the right track, just go on, and you are going to be, you know, proven to be right. I am pretty sure Africa, it's the continent of the future. We have to believe that things will go better, but as long as we have people in Africa believing in this.
Yes. So the Africans have to believe they're in the right place at the right time.
Right time of the not of the year, right time
of history, yes.
Of history, exactly. Right time of history. They must believe that it has to come from them.
Yes.
It has to come from them. And you know, they have nothing that lacks in them that you know, and I do see how incredibly efficient are our employees in Ethiopia. They're great. and they have proven a fantastic sense of responsibility. And you don't know how many messages I have received of people saying, we are so sorry of what is happening, but we will try our best in order to have the premises and the factories start again. So I think that one has to be extremely resilient. Yes, this is what I think.
Oh, and congratulations on reopening again after that,
Yes,
after the Civil War.
I'm so happy, Frank.
I can imagine. And thank you very, very much for this time. Thank you.
I hope this was helpful anyway.
Yes, we're receiving already many messages thanking you. So very good. Thank you.
I do hope to talk to you soon. Okay.
Great.
If you need, I'm here.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.